everybody, VikingsMan18 here, making a video I didn't really expect to be doing. I've been getting a lot of messages about my opinions of the reviews that Batman vs. Superman has been getting recently. A lot of you probably know that Rotten Tomatoes the critics on there have not really given this movie a great review so far. And they were asking my opinion on it, and they were asking because a lot of people who watch my previous reaction videos and all that know that this is the movie I'm looking forward to the most this year. And I have a couple of thoughts about it, and I just want to point out a few things. So I'm looking at the Rotten Tomato page for Batman vs. Superman. If you don't know what Rotten Tomatoes is, it's generally the #1 movie review site out there. I don't know if it does TV shows or not, but it's a movie review site. And what they do is it has a Rotten meter where it has like the good ratings, the bad. If it's good, it's a good one. If it's bad, it's rotten. And it goes off professional critic reviews. And the movie is currently, I'll post a little image down here somewhere of showing it, but it's currently sitting at a 31% overall rating. It is an average rating of 5.1 out of 10 out of 185 reviews counted. Now what that's basically saying is the critics who were most likely paid to review this movie are giving it not so great reviews. The critic consensus says Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice smothers a potentially powerful story and some of America's most iconic superheroes in a grim whirlwind of effects-driven action. There's a couple of things I'm going to say. I read a couple of the reviews, and there's a couple of things I noticed. One of the big things that they're talking about is they're mentioning how the movie is very joyless. There's not any humor in it. To which I say, DC Comics, especially with Batman, is not a humor-driven story. Superman has very little humor in it. DC overall as a company they're not Marvel. I don't like the fact that they're comparing it to a Marvel, because a lot of these reviews, I'm being serious, if you go in here and read it, a lot of them are comparing it to Marvel movies. You can't do that. DC is not Marvel. They are completely two separate different types of companies here. DC is a much darker company than Marvel is. It's just the way it is. And I can understand not liking a movie when there's very little humor or joy in it, but for the audience that this kind of movie is targeting, a superhero movie of Batman and Superman, I would think a majority of the audience is a fan of superhero movies or a fan of these characters. Because I'm going to go out, I would easily say that if you ask a casual fan about comics or anything to name two superheroes, most of the time the first two that would pop in their head is Superman and Batman. That's just what I believe, because those are easily the two juggernauts of the comic industry. There's no doubt about it. So that's why one thing I do want to say is that even if this movie keeps getting bad reviews from the critics, it's still going to break box office, not record, it's going to do amazing at the box office. I think this movie's easily going to pass $1 billion, easily. Because people are going to see it regardless. And a lot of the reviews are, like I said, they're comparing it to Marvel with like the humor and everything in it and just the way Marvel is. And like I already said it before, you can't do that. You cannot compare DC to Marvel. It's like apples to oranges. You can't do that. So that was just one thing I had to get off my chest. I find it very, if I read a review and they're trying to compare the two, it's a moot review at that point to me, because they're completely separate. You cannot compare the two together and expect to get similar results. Just the way it is. Now, a big thing I want to point out is that was the 31% on the Rotten Tomatoes, on the professional critics. That was out of 185 reviews. If you look to the right, the audience score, that's what matters. The audience score is people who have gone and seen the movie, casual fans like us. We paid for tickets to go see this movie, and it's what they rated the movie. And if you see it, 78% people say that they like this movie. The average rating is 4.1 out of 5. Great. And look at how many ratings there was. 126,306 at the time I'm looking at this page, compared to the 185 critic reviews. Now, before people start saying like fanboy and all that, obviously I do love these characters. I haven't seen the movie yet. I'm currently filming this on Thursday, March 24th. The movie does come out tonight, but I have work tomorrow. I can't go to the midnight premiering tonight. not even midnight. I think they're actually showing it at 6 p.m. Eastern time in some areas. I can't see it tonight, so I haven't seen the movie yet. But some of the critics' reviews, they had good points. Like, they made decent points. They weren't bashing it. They weren't comparing it to Marvel. It was just how they felt. Perfectly fine. Not everybody's gonna like this movie. I completely and totally understand that. That is perfectly alright. But just the fact that the audience score is almost at an 80%, which on Rotten Tomatoes is considered a great movie, like a really good movie. In comparison to Star Wars, with the amazing reviews it was getting a 91 or 92%, I believe. It may have dropped a little bit since then. And that was considered like super amazingly high on Rotten Tomatoes. Because on Rotten Tomatoes, it's not easy to get a really, 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 really high score because of the critics. And I think that speaks volumes, because the audience is what's paying to see this movie. They are the ones who are generating money for the box office. The box office that Warner Brothers is going to look at what's important to a movie, the money it makes. And the overall score, 78%, 4.1 out of 5, over 126,000 people are saying that they liked this movie. I am easily going to side. When it comes to any movie, the critics' review does not matter to me. I do not care what they say. If I want to see a movie, I'm going to go see this movie. So, because that audience score right there should tell you that if you have any doubts about this, like if you're a fan who wants to see it but you're afraid to because of what the critics said, you might be disappointed. You might not like the movie. But don't be afraid to go see it because of what a couple of people saw. That's my biggest issue with critics. I don't believe we should judge what we want to see or what we want to do based on another person's opinion. And that's just how I feel about it. That's basically kind of why I wanted to make this video, for anybody who is on the fence about seeing it. If you don't want to see it because you're not interested, don't see it. I mean, it's a free country. You don't have to go see this movie. If you want to see this movie, if you are excited about this movie, who is now afraid of this movie because of the reviews, don't let that affect it. Go watch the movie. If you want to go see it, go watch it, because I guarantee you, if you're excited for this movie, you'll probably come out of here like almost 80% of the people who went to go see it, and they liked it. And that's pretty much how I feel about it. There was a couple of quotes. Actually, let me see if I can pull those up real quickly for you guys. They asked the stars of Batman and Superman how they felt. Let me look this up real quickly. How they felt about the reviews. Sorry, I should have had this up already. I didn't think about it till now. Look at this. I'm on comicbook.com. Batman vs. Superman is already #1 in all the international markets because it got showed earlier than America. Here it is. Zack Snyder, Henry Cavill, and Amy Adams respond to the Batman vs. Superman criticism. Okay. Let me skip to it. Henry Cavill, who plays Superman, was asked his opinion on it, and he says, quote, "The interesting thing is that we get the critics who have their personal opinions," Henry Cavill tells Yahoo. "And the thing about personal opinions is that they always come from a place. And there's a preconceived idea which you have to get past a critic before you start writing your article or review, and that affects everything." He's basically saying that a lot of these critics go in there with a preconceived idea of this movie, and they're not going to walk out changed. Keep continuing with the quote. "What is really going to matter, I believe, is what the audience says," the Superman actor goes on, "because they're the ones who are buying the tickets, like I said. They're the ones who want to see more of this kind of story, or not, and so the audience's voice is loudest, and after this weekend, the audience, at least partly, will have spoken." And Ben Affleck asked the same question. All he said was that he agrees with Henry Cavill's comments. Affleck, who plays Batman. He basically said what I just told you guys. The audience is what's paying to see this movie. The critics are people who are paid, maybe not all of them, to see this movie and review it. And that's just their opinion. The audience score is speaking wonders, because how can the critics have a 31% rating compared to the 78% of the audience? It's shown that the audience generally likes this movie. The critics, like Henry was saying, a lot of them seem to have a preconceived idea that they're going to walk into this movie and have a Marvel-like experience, which is ridiculous. And to keep going, Amy Adams also offered her opinion. Amy Adams, who plays Lois Lane. I know that Zack Snyder doesn't make the movies, or none of us are making the movies for the critics. You can't go into it with that perspective. I know we really hope the fans like it, and so far the reaction has been really positive on that front, which it has. She's basically saying that the people that matter, the fans, have been really enjoying the movie so far. Dawn of Justice's director Zack Snyder also weighed in on the issue. I'm a comic book guy, and I made the movie as much as I can on that aesthetic. He's basically saying he made the movie as much as he could based off the comics, which, from what I'm seeing, he did a really good job on, because like I was saying, DC is not a go happy, I don't want to say company, because they do have obviously some happy stories, like not everything is dark and dreary, but when it comes to Batman and Superman, they're not big humor characters. Like, they're not going to have hilarious moments in their movies, or even in their comics. I'm sorry. It just irritates me with how they do some of this. That was what they were saying though, and I think they went completely the right way of how they're saying it. They're saying exactly what I said. The fans are what matter, and the fans are saying that it's a good movie. Obviously, not everybody's gonna like it. It's just the way it is. But I definitely think if you're interested in this movie, you should definitely go see it. I feel like you will definitely miss out if you don't at least try to go see it because you looked at some stupid critic reviews that it's just one person's opinion, maybe a few. But would you rather believe the consensus of 120 something people or the consensus of 126,000 people? And that's just from the international markets and the early screenings. The movie has yet to be released in the United States. It releases tonight, and I'm sure tomorrow we will have a much better idea of what this is. And that is pretty much what I have to say about this topic, guys. Sorry I kind of rambled on a bit, but it is what it is. Like I said, you probably saw it already, but in this corner of this video, I'll probably post the capture shot of the Rotten Tomatoes so you can see for yourself. Final comments. Pretty much said them already. Just, if you want to see the movie, go see the movie. I doubt you'll regret it. And tell me what you think. Hopefully we'll be enjoying it. I know I probably will, 'cause I'm a fan. And that is pretty much it, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video. Tell me what you think in the comments down below. What is your opinion on this whole thing? Did you go to an early screening? If you did, tell me about it. No spoilers. No spoilers. I know some of you do that in YouTube comments. Not my fans, not maybe my subscribers, but I have been to a lot of videos, especially when Star Wars came out. Oh my god, you couldn't go to a video without being revealed the big spoiler. Don't worry, I'm not going to say it if you haven't seen the movie yet. But if you haven't, shame on you. Just kidding. But that is it, guys. I will see you all for more videos later on. Have a good one.